All right, let's pick up the mystery gun. Did we ever actually take bets on what this thing did? We were supposed to take bets on what this thing did.
So I told people to speculate in the comments about what this thing does, and as far as I could tell, everyone thought their ideas were really lame, but no one actually got what this gun does, and their ideas were much cooler than what this gun does.
I have one theory. I think that this gun is going to give it to you. Like, fuck waiting for you to get it on your own. This gun is going to deliver it to you.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not even that cool. So a lot of people said that this gun was going to do X-shaped blasts, which is a really, really obvious idea, right? But no, it's a laser beam.
Wait, so is there anything exceptional about it?
It's the most powerful laser beam gun in the game.
This is just a reskin of the lightning gun. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so it's
not even a laser beam.
Those guys
but why does a welding tool need like this strong and like long of a beam?
Know. Like some of this level doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you think about it for too long. Like the crew was killed by the harvesters, right? But also the ship has all of these super powerful defense bots. Why didn't the defense bots, help? Well, they totally activated to fight us.
You should just, your crew members should be shooting it with their guns, and then you should be shooting with the welder, and it should be fixing the holes left by your crew.
How do I get up there? Oh, I know how I get up there. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know, but the noise you make... Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I like Alex's concept of you need a welding tool that needs to be remote. Like you have long distance welding competitions.
Yeah. There's only one welder on the ship, and man, oh fuck. All right, well that was embarrassing, but we don't actually need any of that, do we? Actually, how's our? No, we're good.
I don't know how much Killing Floor you guys played, but welding can be pretty aggressive in that game if you want to be a dick to your teammates.
Josh has played a shitload of Killing Floor.
True.
He had us play it once.
You can weld doors shut behind people and get them stuck.
And you can't easily dismantle the door while someone is actively repairing it. So,
Alex, that's literally the only thing that makes me want to play Killing Floor is the prospect of welding Josh or something.
It also does this with the alt fire, but I'm not entirely sure what this is exactly. It's really erratic and doesn't seem to really follow any particular direction.
It is a combination of the shock core gun from Unreal and the lightning gun from Quake 3. And since this is a Quake 3 engine game,
Unreal
it's
also
just a
had a
reskin
plasma
of
gun with a lightning bolt that came out of it. Unreal Tournament.
This is basically... Oh, hey, look, we're in a big environment. Which actually... doesn't look all that big when you think about, Half-Life 2's Citadel section or something like that. Yes, we're 4 years ahead of that, but still.
Unrelated. I've noticed that the sound it makes when you jump and you land is the same sound that they use in the Star Wars Jedi Knight games. So I guess that is confirmation that they take place in the same universe.
This is Kyle Katarn's day job.
Exactly. Also, I don't know if anyone noticed, but I'm pretty sure that the sound it makes when you run on those gantries, if you time your steps right, you can make the Terminator theme.
That'd be a cool little Easter egg. This is the engine that was used for Jedi Outcast, and probably the same team that worked on Jedi Outcast. They did that immediately after this game, so... Yeah, so this is this gun, the arc welder or dreadnought weapon, depending on if you're in single player or multiplayer, is basically just a higher DPS version of the minigun. That's more or less what it does. I still like the photon burst better.
Has anybody played any better Star Trek games?
I will kill you. Was it what?
Well, I was just wondering if anyone
played
any better Star Trek games.
The best Star Trek game I've ever played was not Star Trek branded.
Oh, right. I think I need to...
there's a board game called... I think I think it's called Space Cadet. There is a board game called that. I think it's the one I'm thinking of. And it's a fun board game because somehow it manages to convey the experience of being part of a crew in like the midst of a terrible boarding action where everyone has their own stations and their own stuff, while again being a board game. And basically how it works is you get like, it's very timer based. You've got like 1 minute where the crew has to talk about what they're going to do this turn after the enemy's taken their turn. And then you like, when that minute's over, each of you has a minute to do your station. Like, the person who's on the helm has to, like, play a puzzle game where they flip over all of their tiles and, like, make the right tiles or something. I was on the shield, so I had to, like, I got random energy points that I had to assign in, like, a symmetrical order so that we had shields and stuff. And it's pretty fun. And also, like, it creates great emergent stories. The first time I played it, I had never played it before, and like the only other guy who never played it before was Common, and he was assigned to the navigation. And so we're coming in, and we see our first two enemies, and it's like, okay, Adam, make sure you get the shields in the front, because we're gonna come up in front of them, and we're gonna like bomb them. Just put all the shield energy in the front. Common, get us like right in front of them. And after the minute was up, we like figured out what happened. I had gotten all of the shields successfully in front of me, but Common. What just happened?
We died because we blew up.
I think we hit an explosive pipeline thing that I've never accidentally hit before.
Common somehow managed to pull off like a fucking Ice Capades like tour of the solar system and landed us directly between the two enemy ships. So that they were exactly on like our starboard and our port sides with all of the shields at the fore. So they drilled us, like, immediately cards go up, and, like, half of our stations have warning lights flashing, like, there's fires on the ship, there's breaches, like, in deep space. Like, Common gets, like, a combat demotion and transferred to a different station. We're, like, mixing up who's on which stations based on, like, because previously we're just like, oh, yeah, I want to try this one. It's like, nope, I know that station, I got you to it. Come on. And we barely managed to get out of that whole thing alive. And then, like, he had a moment where he redeemed himself at the very end by, like, managing to navigate us perfectly for the final engagement. And it felt like a Star Trek pilot. It felt like a good Star Trek episode. So yeah, that was a good Star Trek game.
I like an actual Star Trek game?
No, it's not. It's like Space Cadet or something.
Yeah, it's not branded. There are a few, I mean, Star Trek is not completely devoid of good titles. It's just that a lot of Star Trek games were not very good.
Because there's nothing about Star Trek that is complementary to a video game.
Well, there is, like, I think the closest it ever got was the Star Trek 25th Anniversary and Judgment Rights games, which were LucasArts style, you know, point-and-click adventure games that were released, I think, in the early 90s. And they had, like, all of the original voice cast, or almost all of them. For some reason, DeForest Kelley read all the episode titles, which I didn't really understand, but... and that one was really quite good. There was also one that came out shortly after this one called Bridge Commander, which was a really cool, like, you were in the bridge, like in the captain's chair, giving orders to the other people on the bridge to like fly the ship. So it's not there aren't any, like, it's not all bad, but it does have issues, and there were a lot of games that came out in the late 90s that were not great. There was like a PS2 fighter, like Star Fox-ish game that was very ostensibly Star Trek, but, you know, Star Trek doesn't have fighters, really. I mean, it does, but it doesn't really... I also remember when Chang said he couldn't blow up the door like 30 minutes ago. Well, he can blow up this one. When we had to use the laser to open the door and then kill Tuvok.
Yeah, we have a welder.
We have a giant more than industrial. We have Starfleet industrial grade welder to open anything. We should be good.
We should be.
Well, why did they call it a welder and not like a ship breaker? Like, wouldn't that be something they do
unwelder?
Like, yeah.
I mean, I guess it's like, it's not originally designed as a weapon, it just happens to be the highest DPS. Well, photon burst
I'm just saying,
DPS, but...
You could reframe it, you could keep the same exact weapon and reframe it not as a welder, which doesn't even make sense because it's doing energy beams, but like, make it so that it like, it's a ship breaker. It cuts ships in half, like in the video game.
So we're entering a part of the end game of the game. We've got these two very powerful weapons, the photon burst and the dreadnought weapon, or arc welder as it's called in the multiplayer version. And these things both use ammo pretty quickly. Like that uses ammo fairly quickly for the damage it does. And this one does, 20 ammo a shot, or 25 with the tracking one that's alt fire that I don't really use because it's slow. So we're at the point where these things will run you out of energy very quickly if you use them extensively. So you'd think that would be the point in the game where it'd be like, okay, so you got these powerful weapons, but you're not supposed to use them all the time, right? You'd think that would be the thing. It's like, well, maybe you should use the minigun when you're not, dealing with... How fast can a minigun kill one of these guys? That's not too bad. Maybe you should use the minigun or the grenade launcher when you don't need, like, the rocket launcher to kill the one guy you're shooting at. But no, the end game, the last, like, 3 levels are just, like, there's just weapon energy everywhere. So you have this very strange sort of resource economy where every fight you're basically run out of energy and then you just immediately go and find all the energy pickups. It's very strange.
You know what that feels? That feels like a game that didn't have time to balance the level design or the distribution of items. So it's like, here, just you're able to get through it. There you go.
So if we go over here, we'll die.
Am I playing a song in the background, or is that the music in the game?
That's the music.
This sounds like a DOS racing game. What? Oh no! Okay, it was a game in the background. Okay.
Oh. I was gonna say, I'm like, cool, what racing games are you playing?
Josh, I had brought up the question of what Star Trek games has everyone played, and I went looking for the one that I hated that I had played. It was the Deep Space Nine SNES game, and there was just a Let's Play of it running in the background while I was watching this. And it was...
There was a Deep Space Nine SNES game?
Yeah, you get to play as Cisco, and... It exists.
Are you talking
I don't know
about...
what to tell you.
What was it, Final Unity, or is that the... No, The Fallen. That game didn't come out on Super Nintendo.
Yeah, Crossroads of Time.
Crossroads of Time? I've never fucking heard of that. That's the other thing, is there's a number of very obscure Star Trek games that didn't do well initially and no one remembers. Alright, so we've got these rods here that will kill us.
Hey, that's the rod cooling chamber we just came from.
Yeah. Oh, that one's just gonna keep walking forward and being an idiot.
The worst Star Trek video game is probably the film tie-in from 2013.
Like, oh, that film.
Yeah, that one was bad. Although, like, in a somewhat interesting way for a Star Trek game, where it was, like, bad in a very big AAA, terrible licensed game kind of way, and most Star Trek games were not like that. I mean, the golden age of Star Trek games were kind of like before the modern AAA game really took shape, or most of it was.
But it's also interesting because that hits right around the same time Avatar did. It's one of those the last bastion of like licensed big budget games like Kong or whatever.
Yeah. Like there was a I don't even know how to describe the game. I guess it was an adventure game that was a tie-in for Star Trek Generations, and had a like completely like it was the movie, but it had like a completely different ending from the movie. Like the Enterprise blew up because Soren sabotaged the warp core or something. And, like, that's not what happened.
I have a fond memory of I don't know which one it was. They made several, like, you control them with the keyboard. Oh, I think it was Video Trek. Video Trek 88.
What are you talking about? Control them with the keyboard, how?
It was, I mean, it like...
The energy rounds for the weapon should be there.
Here's one.
I find it difficult to remember exactly how it worked, but basically, like, the layout of the and functions of the ship were bound unintuitively to keyboard keys a la Dwarf Fortress.
Are you talking about like really old like text-based games?
It wasn't text-based per se, it was more like a roguelike.
So I just looked it up. The original Star Trek the Motion Picture did have a tie-in video game on the Vectrix. That is how old that film is.
Yeah. Also, I mean, Star Trek is old enough that, like, you know, here's a game we should actually do on a stream sometime. What if we played some Net Trek?
No.
Net Trek is the very first network multiplayer game, as far as I'm aware. It was designed in the early 80s or late 70s and done on, like, university mainframes.
Can I just point out that we've basically given up any pretense that this is a Star Trek universe thing at this point? This is now Rambo stuff.
Yeah. Oh, it gets better.
Acknowledged. I am initiating the firing sequence. Prepare to beam back to Voyager.
So this is definitely gonna
lock
work,
and
right?
load, Tuvok. We're Jesus Christ.
Data said lock and load in Insurrection.
There are phrases I do not associate with Star Trek, and lock and load is one of them.
This isn't your grandfather's Star Trek, Chris.
Kill it.
Alex, I don't...
Picard says fuck now, consistently.
Picard fucks now.
He fucked from the beginning, but he wouldn't swear.
He was a gentleman about it.
Right. And he didn't kiss and tell either.
I'm pretty sure, like, the first line Picard has in the new series is, "I just got done having sex, now let's stomp a shithole in these motherfuckers."
Are you gonna let me go here? Come on, dude.
Now you've got me picturing Patrick Stewart starring in that Teen Titans reboot where he's like, "Fuck Batman."
Why Teen Titans?
Because that was what was Titans. Famous for this Titans, yeah, this swearing.
What?
They had their reboot that they did recently?
Thing that they're... Yeah.
Like, not the cartoon, like the live-action Titans.
Did that ever come out?
Yeah, it
it's
did.
on DC
People
Universe.
thought it was alright. It got way better reviews than you would expect.
As bad as everyone assumed it was going to be.
Yeah. Did you not see this, Alex?
These are harvesters. Get up, dude.
It mostly spread because of how dumb it looked, but like they announced a live-action version of Teen Titans just called Titans, and in the trailer, like someone says something about Batman, and then Robin like breaks a guy's neck and says "Fuck Batman."
That's silly.
So these are the evil crab people, aka the harvesters.
You know how much more interesting this would be if it turns out that the reality the device warped Voyager 2 was inside of a video game, and the reality was beginning to take hold, and that's why everything's becoming this like militarized shoot 'em up.
The characters notice but are compelled to continue on with it anyway.
See, at least that feels like a Star
Trek.
Trek.
Giant cockroaches were just trying to communicate with you.
Yeah, so this doesn't work so well in the close quarters of Voyager, but also you don't find the non-Voyager gun energy around here very much, so... Oh. Hey. Fuck off.
I'm really concerned they're tearing through the walls.
This is not where we need to go. Oh boy. This could be bad.
Get some!
What do I do here? I forget. There's a button I need to push somewhere.
I don't know. I guess Alien Storm was fine, but I expected better from Valve.
I don't know what is going on.
I totally forgot they made that.
I think everyone did. It was basically just like their dry run for Dota, wasn't it?
Shut up, Chris. That didn't happen.